It's been a little while. This should be an interesting race. We're a bit short people though. There's that four. It's like 15 people or so. That's not great. Usually tier 4 is quite good for attendance. Hopefully the racing will make up for the lack of people. Let's just get our stuff up. Get all set up. Yeah, only 14 people attending. Not the best attendance. Luckily, it seems like just about everybody who is attending does have the teammate with them, so I think the only one who doesn't might be... No, Tammy's got Ryan. Rigby? No, Connor's here. No, I think everybody who's here has a teammate, actually. Very good. Let's see. Ryan and Lars are the first two out in track. Stick on board with Lars for his out lap. So you can see one of the first times. Will be a very solid benchmark. Should be very interesting though. You can see the Rugby opting. Oh, coming Burns left. Let's hope he can get back. Yeah, Rigby's opted for the mediums, and he's the only one to do so far. He's left the pits, so he is choosing to win the mediums right off the bat, along with Isolate with Flair, actually. Let's see. Lars just getting the run onto his first lap here. See what the benchmark's going to be. Very solid line through the Senna S's there. Obviously purple. He's first instead of time. Very solid median line through there, not too much curve, not too wide, so he got validated. So that's really going to be his goal right now, is just to get a solid banker lap in before he truly goes for it. Just be a bit cautious, because you at least want a time, even if it's not the best. And then later you can absolutely book it, because you do have multiple sets of softs. But he may back off here and opt for the mediums, depending on what his strategy is. Let's see what he does. He's not backing off. That's a 108 dead. It's a very solid start. Ooh, but Ryan thrashing it with a 107.5. Let's see. Connor, a 108.8. Not quite on it there with Lars and Ryan. Mr. Silence with a 107.8. Chemical Wolf with a 108.9. G-Infamous with a 110.1. See, Isolated a pretty solid time for running mediums with the very barely squeaking past Chemical Wolf though. You can see there with the 109. With Chemical doing a 108.959 and Isolated doing a 108.957. So close. Ooh. Johnny putting a very solid time there of a 108.7, putting him up to P4. M&T Trocker with a 109.1 as well. And I believe Eddie set his time there with a 108.9 as well. So far, it's a pretty close grid, other than Ryan and Mr. Silence, who seem to be just absolutely leaving it. The only two in the 107s right now. That could change. Let's go on board with Rigby here and see what Rigby can do. As we saw last weekend at Spa, Rigby was a very solid performer, so let's see what he can pull out of the bag on these mediums round Sao Paulo. I'm anticipating somewhere around about P6 for Rigby's lap here. As he will most likely only have one set of mediums for this session, so he's got to make them count. There's not really any cam laps, so you've got to have these with barely any tyre wear if you want speed from them. Either he's just using it for extra practice and is going to flick to the soft to the end of the session, because this could be just testing for him, checking what the mediums are like. Yeah, I can try and invite Cunning Fern. Let me just watch Rigby's lap here. Ooh, 109.3. Yeah, I just wasn't quite sure if I had Cunning Fern as a friend, so I wasn't sure how quickly I could find him. Oh. He's back. Nice. Just waiting on him and Temmie to get a lap in, but as we can see, Temmie just coming around here. Middle of sector 2, so it shouldn't be long till we see his time. Great number there, Temmie with the 69, very funny. Yeah, Temmie's goal is most definitely going to be getting up there to P2 to try and match his teammate, Ryan, who's just shown a performance we haven't really seen from him before. Which you love to see. These newer drivers really showing their pace and hopefully moving up tiers. Obviously everybody's goal in this league is to get to tier 1 and fight for championship in whatever tier you are. These others are going to have a little bit of traffic issues. Oh, Cunning's gone again. Well, quickly while Temmie's doing his lap, I'll try and get that invite back to Cunning. There we go, that's invite. Oh, he's disqualified for parked in a dangerous location. I don't believe that was his fault. I think that was the bot there and some bad lag. That's really gonna mess up Cunningfern's race there. He's gonna be starting last as long as others don't join. That is not great for him, but let's see what Temmie here can do. Ooh, up to P6, a very solid time. Almost perfectly between TJW and Connor there with a 108.643. Everybody set a time in the session so far, but we're going to be looking for drivers here to improve. See what Mr. Silence can do. Oh, no, stuck into the pits. A little bit slow on that exit there, but backing off. I think that's going to be a duck into the pits. Yep. Looks like a slow lap for Eddie here. I think like 10 he's doubled up. But still trying to... Ah, no. Just a lot of fuel conservation. Just learning how to fuel right as he entered the pit lane there. We've isolated us on a lap here though, so we can see if he can move up from the P9 he's currently sitting in. It's not a massive gap to get to P8, but it's really whether he wants to get any further. With slides like that, that's really not going to be helping him. Ooh, Ryan going even faster though, trumping himself by almost a tenth with a 107.442. He really is racing by himself here. Mr. Silence, the only really one trying to get pressure on it. Nice jump for Isolated with Flair, they're up 4 positions. Just barely missing out on Johnny though by just a tenth. Yeah, really beautiful speed from Ryan. As I said, unmatched right now. Let's hope somebody's been holding back a little bit and is gonna absolutely go. Speaking of holding back, TJW Purple Sector 2 there. I think we might be seeing somebody to trump Ryan halfway through this session here. Took a wee while, but we might be able to see P1 taken. Nah. Just barely missing out on P2 there, less than half a tenth. Yeah, I think they're all struggling to hook a lap up very smoothly though, or as somebody said in the comments about Mr. Silent, CJW and Lars all having quite the pace. You can see by their times they could get potentially even past him, but they really are struggling to hook up a lap. TJW, just as I said, missing out on P2 there by about a quarter of a tenth. It's got to be upsetting for him, but he may still have another set of tyres. Let's hope he can get out of the way of this AlphaTauri though. There we go. In which, let's go on board with Lars. See if Lars is going to get involved in the fight for P1 or not. Purple Sector 2, very nice. Yeah, I can show the lap data. Ooh, up to P2, but still 2 tenths off Ryan. It was an incredibly solid lap, but just not quite enough. See, I believe Mr. Silence is on a lap right now. He's very slightly down there, as you saw, by just half a tenth. Sector 1. Let's hope he can rake it back and have a very solid Sector 2. Making sure to keep it nice and planted on that exit. You don't want to be wheel spinning because that'll be a big time loss there. Ooh, he's down by a tenth though. This could be a very solid lap. As long as he hooks it together in Sector 3, he could take this here. Could he move up from P3 to P1 here? Is he going to do it? Ah. It's an improvement, but not enough to even get Lars there. Just a quarter of a tenth. Really is a tiny gap right now that these guys are fighting for. Looked like I just saw a little jump there in the midfield. It might have been Rigby there, but I'm not quite sure. Obviously nobody's still opting for the medium compound. All of the, or both of the medium runners, who I believe were Rigby and I believe it might have been Infamous. Yeah, good sport in the chat there from Catsby. I agree. Yeah, let's see if anybody's on a lap here. Yeah, Rigby seems to be. Although it looks like he's running out of fuel actually. Yep. Eddie slightly further back. Taking it quite calm through there, making sure not to lose the back end. Very important to keep it planted through the sector. It's a very solid improvement, up by 3/10. This could put him up to the top P5. See what's going to happen here. Just across the line, but no. He's down by 2/10. That's a shame. See, I believe Temmie's on the lap here, yep. He's not got much to gain, exactly a 10th to close if he wants Eddie's position there of P8, but he's not going for it. He's ducking into the pits. That seemed like a very solid lap there from Temmie. Let's go on board. Oh, Chemical Wolf backing off here. Entirely out ERS. M&T Rocker invalidated, ducking back into the pits. G-Infamous, let's see if he can actually pull this off the back row here. Because he's obviously got a chance, unlike Cunningford here, to gain positions. And that's definitely going to be his goal right now. He's 3/10 up. Very solid time gain there. Let's see. Can he get it down to the 18s and get it in the top 10? No Racing Point do it. Ooh, P11, just barely missing out. Some of the tiniest of margins right there. Just about a 10,000th. 13 thousandths of a second just off Chemical Wolf. That's a shame. Let's hope he can gain a little bit more if he goes for another lap, which he might already be doing actually. A bit short in the ERS though. Looks like his teammates had a little bit of issue down here. Yeah, it's great how competitive this tier is. It gives me plenty to talk about. It's incredibly close from first to last. It's exactly what you want to be seeing. Yeah. Only sad part about this session is Cunningford, who I think could have actually put a solid midfield fight in there, but just got a bit screwed over by bad internet connection, which is really not something you can help. I've been there and been in that position, and it's a real shame. See, can G-Infamous improve? Down by a 10th. Eddie's invalidated. Rigby just getting into a lap here. Gonna try and go in ahead and improve if he has the fuel for it. Ooh, just close there. Deep rocker. M&T Trocker, who's already retired, so that's going to leave him starting the back row of the grid there. We've got 14th and 13th both confirmed. G-Infamous, a little bit of internet connectivity issues, as you can see there, lagging all over the place. Rigby passing him very calmly and cleanly there. Trying to make sure his lap stays valid and quick, but he's almost 4/10 down. It's just no way it's going to be an improvement. Yeah, it's going to be 3/10 slower. I think that's going to be us done for the session. G-Infamous here just on an invalid lap, so just going to be waiting for him to get around here. Apparently it's on an out lap. I'm not quite sure what this is about. This might be some connectivity issues, but there we go. Oh, he's left. Let me see if I can try and chuck him an invite. I can't right now while we're in the loading screen though. So that's going to be Ryan P1, Isolate with Flare P2, Larsh P3, Mr. Silence P4, TJW P5, Johnny P6, Brigby P7, Eddie P8, Temmie P9, Chemical Wolf P10, G Infamous P11, Connor P12, M&T Trocker P13, and Cunningfern P14. That's G Infamous back. Sorry, I didn't quite catch Isolate with Flare Slap, I don't think. He's kind of just snuck his way up from the midfield there into the top two. That's going to be him starting on the front row of the grid. Sorry, I missed that. I don't think I captured it. Great lap from him, though, getting into the 7.6s. Just waiting for this to load. Never always the speediest of load times from this game, but let's hope the next game has a little bit quicker. I'm honestly not quite sure who I'd predict for winning this race, though, because there's been some solid pace all round, honestly. I think I'm going to bet on Larsh. Larsh had some solid speed there in quali, getting into the top four. But I think he might actually pull out some very solid race pace and actually get some moves done. So I'm going to say Larsh P1, Mr. Silence P2, and Ryan P3. Ryan wins, Larsh second, and Johnny third. That's an interesting prediction there from a fellow commentator. We'll just have to see which one prevails. Oh, my God. Cunning's internet's really not being nice to him, is it? Said Cunning an invite, but he shouldn't join back until after the start. Or at least take control until after the start, or else it might disrupt it. I know it's you, Yari. You seem to always be watching this, Yari. You're here every Sunday. Tire, get that up, full track that. There we go, confirmed joining. As you can see though, only two opting for medium compound are going to be Connor and M&T Trocker, two starting the back row of the grid. You can see the predicted pit stop there. 13 to 16 if you're changing on hards, and slightly later, or slightly earlier, sorry, if you're changing to mediums. Yeah, that's what I just said. Cunning, if you are watching, try not to take control until after the race restart. Does look like the bot's driving right now, so hopefully he knows about this issue. The bots always get quite solid starts anyways, so it could be a bit to his benefit. G-Infamous needs to make sure he doesn't do the same, yeah. Let's go on board with Ryan here. It's a very close start here. Glad the grid didn't get too spaced out there. Be a nice quick line up in the grid. And hopefully we'll have no bugs or issues. And it's 5 red lights. And they're away. No connectivity issues there. Well, other than the usual grid issues, but let's not worry about that. A little bit of ghosting though. This could shake up the racing slightly. Great start from Ryan there though. Absolutely ripping away from the AlphaTauri of Isolated. He's got to be feeling quite isolated right now. Go reshuffling. Not too much changing on the grid there. M&T Trocker up into the top 10 though. Great start from him. And GM is down to last, just not quite getting the start he'd hoped for. You can see though, group of 5 here that are all just kind of sticking together. This could be a potentially titanic fight for P1 here. Let's have a look slightly further back in the grid though. See, it's some rather odd grouping actually. Top 5 spaced out quite well. Ryan obviously fast lap, 14.4. With that Red Bull really trying to close in. Johnny really all over the back of Rigby there. Ooh, MNC Trocker immediately into the pit lane. I think that might have been some wing damage. That's not going to be a good race for him. He's going to hope for something special if he wants to pull that back. Good run from Rigby there, keeping his ground to Johnny. And Extension, Chemical and Eddie. We're all going to be looking for that P6 right there. It's not going to end well though for Rigby here as soon as DRS comes, because right now he is not in a good window and he will not have DRS, and it's going to leave him like a sitting duck really. So not what he wants. GX gone again. Ryan with a 110.657, a very solid lap there. Give me a second, let me just try and invite G Infamous. He's not appearing for me. Can't invite him back right now. M&T Trocker opting for the hards though in that pit stop. He's really going to be enjoying, or maybe not enjoying, that clean air. As you can see, he's just in turn 1 down here at the Senna S, is just exiting them now, whereas the whole rest of the grid is in the end of Sec 2. Ryan pulling a very comfortable gap right now. Don't know whether it's Brazil that it's just found this new pace at, or it's just overall, but Ryan has got some great speed right now. Beating his fastest lap again with another 110. This is not going to be good for Isolate though, because he's not going to have DRS here. Yep, I can send you an invite, Cunning. There you go, man. Ooh. I think, yeah, Johnny and Rigby just absolutely duking it out. As you can see, Johnny just weaving down the road looking for a gap around Rigby, but he's making that car as wide as possible. Ooh, a little like on the brakes there, Johnny. Luckily no wing damage from what it looked like. I didn't see anything falling off. Just wasn't quite anticipating the slow speed Rigby took that at. Just clip the back of him. I think everybody's all good though. Just cost Johnny a bit of time, but I think that was a self-serving penalty in itself there. Can have the DRS to closing Rigby though, and as you can see back there, he's got a nice gap to Eddie. So if he keeps his ground through the Senna S's here, he may be able to get Rigby on the run here, but didn't quite get that exit that Rigby did. Connor making a nice move there for P10 though, but Temi not letting it go that simply. Connor barely giving him room, but Temi not backing down in the slightest, taking the apex into there, having the racing line. That was a beautiful move there from Temi, simply executed. But sometimes the simplest of moves are the best ones. When you start bringing ego into the equation and start flaunting your skill, that's when you start making mistakes. I think Eddie might be launching an assault onto the back of Johnny here in a sec with this DRS. But they're both going to be hunting down Rigby, who's just been great at defending from Johnny these last few laps here. Okay, send it again, Cunning. There you go. Sent you another one, Cunning. Ooh, a little bit wide there from Johnny, though, obviously struggling with the dirty air off of Rigby. It's really not great. Let's go have a little look over here with the Honda squad, though. I think second, third, and fourth. Good run for Mr. Science there, which he's going to desperately need if he wants to hold ground against two AlphaTauris behind. You'll see in the gap here, the closing speed, it just climbs down and down and down. He's got enough clearance though that it's not an issue. So then nailing these corners, but just keeping solid ground to Ryan and not being able to close and not having the assist of DRS. Burning through his ERS there, almost none left for him to use, whereas Ryan's just absolutely relaxing. At this rate, you could take a nap and he'd still be in first. This has been an absolutely dominant display so far. Ooh, Chemical Wolf 3-second time penalty, corner cutting. Been a little bit too close of fighting there. Speaking of close fighting, Hemi and Connor here seem to be really equally matched in these softs and mediums. Connor running a bit wide there, and as you could hear, hit that curb on the outside and it just raked along his under tray. That was that loud scratching noise was. Johnny 3 seconds as well, really struggling behind Eddie. Eddie's made the move and now he's just been sent further back. We might be able to see a run from Connor here, but he really didn't get that exit that he should have got. Kenny clearing him nicely. He's going to rake him right back in, but not nearly enough for what he needs. Late on the brakes though, is a nice late break from Connor. No exit out of this NS, is there? It shouldn't do. If I can send you an invite, then it should work, Cunning. I think it might be an internet issue, the notification's not coming through on your end. There's not much else I can do, really. I'll send you another invite and see if that works, but if it's not working, it's not working. Oh well, sent you another one. Hopefully that one comes through. Let's have a little look back at Rigby here, who seems to be the defensive master, holding ground. Ooh, actually, AlphaTauri seems to be fighting. Flip quickly on board with this. Red Bull's dragging off into the distance. Mr. Silence, obviously, sneaky innovative, unheard, as his name would imply, leaving the two AlphaTauris to fight, which will give him some good solid ground and could probably pull a margin like Ryan is doing. Ooh, M&T Rocker though, launching a nice solid attack there. Was of course Cunning Infernal, who's just sat at the back here, but he's going to have DRS and repass Heat Rocker. Temi and Connor, though, who've been back here fighting this 1 point the whole time here, back and forth. It's obviously going to work in Connor's favour right now, although it is going to wear those mediums down more, but Temi's got to pit first. Could profit him at the end, though. Ooh, yellow flags. It looks like Eddie's gone off. That's a very weird location. I think he may have got pinched to the apex there. That's where he lost it. Just grabbed the grass and tipped it into the wall. As you can see, he's got some wing damage there on the right side. His end plate's entirely gone. That's really going to be costing him. He's fighting a bit too much with Rigby and Johnny. Not sure if there's a person to blame there, if it was just a bit too close, really. It's going to put it back to square one, though, back to lap 2 and 3, where it's literally just Rigby and Johnny. M&T Trocker, 3 seconds. Is Johnny getting a run here? Rigby seems to be very good, though, at keeping a very solid exit and making it almost impossible for anybody to mount an attack down this straight, even with DRS. Just isn't enough. You can see the pit window has opened for hards, 11 to 15, which is quite a large window, but you can stretch these softs. I have seen them taking 18 laps without puncture, which could be a good shout. Grid has become rather spaced out, and these times the only two sticking together, or only two bundles left, are Johnny and Rigby here. Of course, Temi and Connor and Larson isolated. We're currently getting a great team result in 3rd and 4th. Gonna see anybody duck into the pits this early, though, and go for an undercut. Could be a profitable strategy if you get it right. Hards will go that long, and if nobody else pits, it could be a massive gain and rocket you all the way up to the front row. And how effectively it works, and as long as you keep good pace, but it seems nobody's taking it right now. Nobody's taking the bait. I think we'll have to wait at least one more lap, if not more, to see anybody actually go for it. Connor getting 3 seconds, that's really going to benefit Temi there, though, in their fight. Actually moving up positions there, both in the points now after Eddie's incident. Eddie all over the back of M&T Trocker there, trying to sneak around the outside. M&T Trocker leaving him no ground whatsoever. He was not alongside. He did have the right to take that racing line there, though. Eddie is going to sail by up the inside, though, with the DRS. M&T Trocker forced to tuck back. He's got to watch that fuel, though, because he is in the negatives there. They're trying to burn everything to get by M&T Trocker here. Not quite a great exit there for M&T Trocker. Ooh, Temi's decided to pit. He is gone for the undercut. I don't believe anybody else has joined him with it. It's got to be hards. Yep, it is. Nice quick pit stop there from the Alfa Romeos. Exactly what he's wanting. And I think he may actually escape here, even in front of Eddie and M&T Trocker. M&T obviously cruising even on those hard tyres with that DRS, but it's not going to close him enough. Cutting that corner quite tightly there. DRS is not going to get him by even on these 10 lap old hards, so He's just got to just try and pull himself along with the faster Eddie here. He's on fresh softs, which could be a good gain for him. He can take these much longer, so it'll probably be a 2-stop for Eddie here after that wing damage, stopping obviously to pitch change his wing and choosing the soft. So he's going to be taking those about as long as people are taking these softs, and probably somewhere between 11 and 16 laps, and then he's probably going to opt for mediums to his alternate compound right at the end, which could game him massively if something like a safety car comes out. But right now I'm not seeing a big chance of that, how this race is going. G-Infamous here and Cunning Fern obviously in a tight battle. The two who obviously are struggling to join back. Isolated with Flair getting a penalty there, just not quite being able to see from the ghosts. That seems slightly unfair. Ooh, Eddie retiring. He's put it in the wall out of the NASs. That is a big shame. We'll see here aboard Ryan. Yeah, look back there. He's just lost it on the exit and it's all gone wrong for him. You can see him just behind that board there. That's really not great. Mr. Silence getting position on Larsh there. But he's opted for the hards. Larsh has opted for mediums. This could put Larsh in a position to take that position there. Both losing out to TJW though, who opted not to pit just yet and planning to take his soft longer. He's got to navigate these bots as people before him have as well. It shouldn't be a difficult task, just straight through him as long as he keeps his eyes on the racing line and not the other bots. It shouldn't be a big problem for him. Breezing through there, didn't seem like any time loss in his path. That's going to be Chemical Wolf in the pits there. Just losing out to his team there, M&D Troffer are both going to be coming out. D Troffer though, on old hards though. Been in these nearly from the start, pitting on lap 4 seems. Or lap 3, sorry, it would have been. Cunning Fern and G-Infamous, his bots both pitting. Really showing the difference in pace though between AI and actual drivers. The Haas double stacking there, luckily TJW getting in first, so there's no issue. No time loss for him. Yeah, these two just showing a great representation though of in-game AI and their speed. Almost 45 seconds back from tier 4 drivers here, which just shows their true speed and how fast even this back tier is. Ryan pitted recently though, and Isolated just opted not to though. So they're struggling a little bit on the soft there, as you can see him running wide. You gonna pit? Yep, that's gonna be a talking to a pit. Is he gonna opt like Ryan, Larsh and TJW and go are the mediums, or is he gonna opt like rest of the field and go for the hards? So a bit hot on that entry there as well. He's going for mediums, and he's not going to be able to serve that penalty. Luckily, he'll be stopping again, so he will be able to. Larsh, finally, somebody else taking fastest lap, going 2/10 faster than Ryan's lap that he set on lap 3, I believe. Very good time from Larsh there, on the medium compound as well, showing some great speed from him. Seems Ryan's not had a great time though and is back in the pits again. Not quite sure that's about. Oh, hitting his wing on the exit there. If the camera could work. Ryan crossed the pit exit white line as well. Oh god, I think this Ryan's race might have just went down the drain there. Losing both sides of the wing, and he's just left. He's had enough. He's gone. He knows he's sacked this race. He had an easy win here, and it's all gone. Look at his wing. Look at the state of it. Penalties. He's just left. It's just his bot driving now. That's definitely going to be frowned upon by the stewards, but That's the race gone for him. That's going to leave it to Mr. Silence here, who's going to be going to the end on those cards. This should be his race to win, but with Lars closing quickly behind, who's went even a tenth faster than his PB there, he's got to worry about the pressure here. Lars enjoying a little window of clean air, trying to close into Mr. Silence here. That's definitely going to be a difficult task with Ryan's bot also opting to pit there. Doesn't look like there's some real close fighting right now though. Chemical Wolf burning everything to try and get up to his teammate here. It's going to be good for them though after Ryan's early retirement, let's say. That's going to put both the Ferraris into the top 10 just barely there, which is going to be some very solid points for them. They've not had the best performances recently, so it's good to see both performing. Lars isolated with Flair, trumping Lars there. Almost a 10th. Yeah, sure, Cunning. Feel like it's a bit of a sunk cost at this rate, but sure, if you want to race, I'm not one to tell you no. You see though, talking about racing, these top three really absolutely on it. Johnny, 5 seconds though, that's not going to help him in that P7 there. It's really going to put pressure on him to Temi. He's only 3 seconds back. I think Temi's set up for a nice P7 right here. Rigby and Connor here just living it up rather calmly, but Connor's not long for that position at this rate, as he has been on those mediums since the start, and those are really going to be feeling awful soon. You can see the blistering on the inside, just really not looking great for him. Hot Brazilian heat not doing those tyres nicely. He's got to pit sometime soon though, and he's going to be opting for softs though. So I'm going to say he's probably going to pit in about 3 or 4 laps time. Looks like Chemical Wolf seems to be lining something up on his teammate here. Don't think it's quite going to be enough. Yeah, just slightly too far back, but giving him the run here in the straight with his teammate on 13 lap older tyres. But Chemical Wolf going negative in the fuel right now. Hope he notices that. Isn't going to cost his race. MT Trocker a bit wide on the exit, barring all the ground he had and some more, grabbing some grass. Chemical Wolf just sitting right behind his teammate who he cannot get by. Good run out of that corner for MT Trocker, but I think we might be seeing a launch down the straight from Chemical Wolf here. Yeah, getting a great run even before the ERS is on, being the high line, and it's gonna give him the speed. Just running side by side almost perfectly. Chemical Wolf only slightly edging him out, but as long as MT Trocker sticks on the back of him, he could have this again just from the DRS down the straight, but it was not a great exit for him. I have no clue what Ryan's bot is doing. I'm pretty sure he's pitted every lap since Ryan left, and I'm very confused by it. Grid seems to be very evenly spaced though outside of those Ferraris. Oh, and I flicked on board just at the perfect time there. Johnny a little over ambitious on that exit there, and it cost him. I can see his wings lifting the end plate on the left side. That's going to cost him as well. He's got a pit for that. He can go into the pits though and opt for the soft compound and try and make that all back, which may be possible, but there you go. Chemical Wolf just going around. MNT Trocker's also going to be planning to do the same. Johnny trying to defend the exit here. It's got to be a pit for Johnny here. If he doesn't, then that's going to cost him. Ooh, that was a bit dangerous there from MNT Trocker, but he had no way of knowing, did he? Johnny going to the pits here. It's got to be the choice to go for softs. They will go that 14 laps that are left, so yeah, soft compound, but that wing change as well. He's just going to be teetering on the top 10 there. There's no way he can take this back. It's mainly going to be a goal of maximising the points, and he will stay in that top 10. Getting lapped by his teammate there though. Was racing for P8. Now he's barely in the points. Map's very much a jumble at this rate, not a jungle. Yeah, he's got to be going for fast laps, try and get at least 2 points out of this race, because I don't think he's nearly close enough to actually close in on M&T Trocker there. Two AlphaTauri still really struggling to maximise their tyres and get by Mr. Silence here, who has really shown great speed recently. You can see Ryan was the only one that was really surpassing Mr. Silence here, and with Ryan out of the equation, it's just Mr. Silence all the way. Ooh, Cunningford finally returning. No, at least one position's on the cards for him, I believe, but not much more after that, I don't think, unless Johnny decides he's had enough and retires or something like that. I think he's content with his 1 point. So they're going to be shooting to try and get some good teamwork here from the Red Bulls, and at least if he takes that fast lap, he's taking it off the AlphaTauris, which is going to help Mr. Silence here keep his gap in the points. M&T Trocker in the pits though. It's got to be an opting for softs. Chemical 3-second time penalty. Let's have a little look at the penalty situation. Mr. Silence 3 seconds. Oh, actually, yeah, Lars is sitting in P1 right now, net P1 with this gap because Mr. Silence 3 seconds. Isolate with Flair 8 seconds. TJW, no penalties. Rigby 3 seconds. Temmie, no penalties. Connor 3 seconds. Chemical Wolf 6 seconds. M&T Trocker 6 seconds. Johnny 6 seconds, and nobody else with penalties. So we're actually looking at a close fight right now between Mr. Silence and Lars. As long as Lars can keep this window right now, he has got P1, and Isolate with Flair is going to be stuck in that P3 of his, as long as TJW doesn't get too close. But if TJW picks up the pace slightly near the end here, he could actually have P3. TJW's penalties here. Lars just barely in the DRS there, and that's going to be good for him though. Less burning of that ERS. You can get towed along by Mr. Silence. Just 10 laps more to go though. Johnny taking fast lap as we anticipated, in first person into the 109, so the 109.791. Very solid time from him. It should be undefeatable pretty much, but we'll have to wait and see what M&T Trocker can do, because he right now is the only person with the tyres to rival that. Cunningford getting that position on GM Finis's bot. Let's put him up to P11. Rigby, 3-second time penalty though. That's not going to be great for him. Especially with Tebby behind, who's quite known, or I wouldn't say known, but he's quite good at not getting penalties. GM Finis here just wedging himself right between the two front runners here. He's definitely going to give Lars DRS though. So right now my P1 prediction was correct. Lars is sitting in P1. Ryan in P3 though, I'm not quite sure it's going to work. There's another one in front of that P3 it seems. Cunningford and GM Finis seem to be in quite a battle here. Gonna stick on board though. Oh, Cunning's gone again, taking fastest lap with a 103.344. Not quite sure that's legit, especially because he's not even at the start-finish line. You can see he's right there. Not quite sure how he set that lap time. Let's just have a double check and actually see that's correct. This one. Yeah, 103.344 when he's in Sector 2 apparently. Not quite sure what that's about, but I don't think that can be allowed to stand. I think that's just got to be going to Johnny. I've seen that happen a few times before. If you've got bad enough internet, which Cunningford, sorry to say, does seem to have, it can just essentially consider you to be ahead of where you actually are and just give you the time. That is very much an impossible time right there. Cunningford has returned. Fastest man on earth. Especially because he did that on 9-lap old hards. There's something special right there. Not quite an exit Lars would have been hoping for out there though. Still within DRS range. Yeah. Nice work, Cunning. It's very cunning of you. But back markers have really been a prevalent issue in this race though. See, we've only got 7 laps to go, and right now Lars is still sitting in a net P1 with those penalties. As long as he stays penalty free, he has this win. See if I can try and actually... Nope, apparently it's not giving me intervals for people, so just gotta do without apparently. Very late on the brakes there from Lars. Mr. Silence running out of things to do for his defence. Lars becoming unstoppable in these later stages on these mediums that are really just coming into their own. Like Mr. Silence has made the wrong choice here for compounds. Both sitting on the exact same lap, but Lars seems to have found some newfound speed. He does have to take these mediums quite long though, so they may die out in the later stages, so it's going to be all about him gaining ground now while they're working. Not the best exit for him there though, running a bit wide and obviously not quite lined up to get the run he wanted. Ooh, what a move from Isolate with Flare. I didn't even see that coming. That was a beautiful move. Just nailing that turn in there. A little bit of a slide through Flare, obviously, as its name implies, but came out of nowhere. Well, apparently we've got somebody else involved in the equation here for P1, because if he's this fast now, he could be gaining some great speed. I don't know what's got into him, but he's manic. He's all over the track, looking for a way by Mr. Silence here, who's been made to look a fool. No speed whatsoever. If he keeps this ground here, this will easily be Isolated's P1. Although with penalty situation he's in, it's not going to be his across the line. Just got to keep it from sliding though, but Lars just lost it there. Looked back and couldn't see anybody. Lars just lost it. Just on that exit, I think Isolated's little spin there might have thrown him off a bit. Dirty air was upsetting him. He does have ground TJW, but not much. TJW with slightly fresher tyres. Neither with penalties. I think that's TJW within DRS range as well. Ah, not quite. What happened, Lars? Set for P1 there, mate. Ah, that's a shame. Come back to him, but I've got to look at the man who's just gone wild in the last few laps. Isolated Flare, who's just found pace out of the oblivion. He's just clawing at Mr. Silence's rear ring. Late on the brakes as physically possible, just barely missing Mr. Silence there. That was incredibly close and slightly dangerous, but it's going to give him DRS for this run here. Isolate getting 3 seconds on top of us already penalties though. That was the wrong one. That one. Yeah, 14 seconds of pens. Lars isn't even 14 seconds back and he's just coming into sector 2 now. Yikes. He's got to keep up this pace as is and hope TJW and Lars get into a little bit of a fight to try and hold that ground and keep this P2 he's on to. But he cannot afford any more penalties. Mr. Silent shouldn't be too worried right now because he can just lay back and cruise around and he'll still be within range of Isolate even if he gets in front. There's no way he can gain 11 seconds in 2 laps. Going to be right up the back of Mr. Silence here, but it's going to be too late for a dive. But Mr. Silence making his braking point there. Going to leave Lars, or sorry, not Lars, Isolate with Flare all over his back bumper, giving him a slight nudge there. He was so slow. This could be Isolated's chance right here. Late on the brakes, riding the apex, wheel to wheel, just a slight tap there. Getting the position done on Mr. Silence though. What a move. Absolutely spectacular. Let's hope fuel isn't still an issue though, as you can see it's just sitting in the yellow there. Just flashing though, I think he's teetering. Yeah, it's all good. Mr. Silence was really not expecting this in the closing stages, I can tell you that. Larsh just sticking with him but not quite being able to do much, but Isolate with Flair just absolutely on it. Struggling with track limits though. If he could get his track limits nailed down, this could have been his win, but Mr. Silence is going to have DRS for once and he's going to try a switchback. Flair blocks him out and it's just absolutely thrown him off for turn 1. It seemed like Mr. Silence has been flustered for the first time in this race, just wasn't quite sure what to do or where to go there. It's not going to be enough ground to do anything here on Isolate. Obviously seems intent on finishing this on P1 in track position though. Gives me more to talk about at least. As you can see, some newfound pace from Mr. Silence here. He's just got something, he's got a target now, he's got a goal, and it's really put some motivation into him and put some speed. Talk about goals, TJW here just sitting right behind Larsh, both no penalties, but TJW, he just needs to stick close with Larsh here and he can have this position. He needs to do something soon though. He is running out of laps. Just this last sector and one more to go, he's got to do something. Gonna have it, give him DRS. He's got to stick as close to Larsh as possible right now. It's gonna be one of his last chances right here. He's gonna close right in, but he's not got enough to do anything. Looks like judging by this speed though, he might have some rich saved actually. If he sticks close enough for this exit onto the straight here, he could get the position done for first. Or sorry, not first, for third. But he's lost that gap there. He's got to nail this exit. Just too late in the race. Larsh has got this. There's no way he can close that back in. Isolate with Flair. That's going to put him in P2 for now. Yeah, just not quite enough there. Larsh P2. TJW getting the P3 though because of Isolates with penalties. Given a wee rename there by accident. Isolate with Flair's penalties there. So that's going to be P1 for Mr. Silence, P2 for Larsh, P3 for TJW, P4 for Isolate with Flair, P5 for Rigby. P6 for Kemi, P9 for Johnny, P10 for M&T Trocker, P12 for Cunning Fern, P13 for Ryan, P7 for Connor. Just waiting on G Infamous and Chemical Wolf here. P11 for G Infamous. And P8 for Chemical Wolf. Well, that was one interesting race. I think, Driver of the Day is going to be a difficult one here. I'm not quite sure who I'd pick. It's been a great performance from Rigby, who's just consistently done well. Same with Temi. I think it's going to go to Temi, actually. Temi's fought well, performed well, driven well. It's just been a very solid race all round, and no penalties whatsoever as well, so there's your winner, Mr. Silence, and your driver of the day, Temi. Thank you for joining me, and have a nice night, people. Goodbye.